Hit it. Okay, I'm going to talk to you about a little company we have called Casco Films, which I started with a very good friend of mine, Jeremy, who many of you may know. There's also many of you involved in filmmaking in this room, okay? But what we specifically do is we love film, and we want to make film, we want to tell stories. And behind me is a bunch of images we've made over the last 2 years since we started. We started making music videos on a white background, and we just shot a film for Italian Vogue with Ellen van Unsworth. So our method and the way we've done stuff is building, and it's building on itself. And like, I don't really know how it makes the world a better place or anything like that, but there is some stuff that's like we've learned and some principles of creativity that I want to share with you guys. And the first thing is that we've tried to stay open and adapt to technology. Like, as many of you know, as very high level professionals, I mean, I look around and I see guys working at a very high level of the industry. It's a very heavy medium and takes a lot of people, it takes a lot of money, and that's often to save time. Now, a few years ago, about 5 years ago, there was a breakthrough with the stills cameras, and you're now able to get an incredibly good image on a cheap camera. And the whole power of filmmaking is now in the hands of a very small crew of people. You can have the camera, you can shoot what you want, you can edit it yourself, you can do the post-production, and you can really tell a story. So it's become a medium much more like photography or music making or painting, something that an artist can really sit down and work. And that's what we are trying to develop, and develop our talents like as storytellers, because that really is like what we love. What we've learned, and Luke and Tracy like touched on this, is just the power of like those YouTube tutorials, and the fact that like there is nothing anymore than you can say, I don't know how to do this, I have to get a specialist to do. Sure, there's obviously a place for specialists. They know exactly what they're doing, they're much quicker, but you can teach yourself to do some pretty complex things that you couldn't do a few years ago. And it's a constant process of like learning what you want to do, you know, looking for your goal. I want to do this thing, how do I do it? Break it down, and you do it, and you end up moving forward. I'm going to look at my notes. Yeah, and very important what we've learned like from being in New York is to collaborate. I mean, we came from an angle of professional film crews and understanding the roles that are within that professional film setup and breaking that down. But then we've collaborated and worked with other filmmakers on the island, and they have a completely different way of going about it. And if you pick up sort of notes and things from people who are doing it in a completely different way, we've been able to streamline and really change the way we work, so we don't lock ourselves down to any particular model. In fact, we don't even say we are a film company that does such and such. I mean, we're open to everything. We've shot a festival. That festival helps us develop skills that allows us to shoot editorial. It's a constant evolving thing. We really try and stay open to that. The other point that I can say is what we found really, really interesting, because it really illustrates the fact that Jeremy and I were doing the same thing. We were very much into the same, similar aesthetic. We live in the same, similar social circles. And it came to a point where we were essentially pitching for the same jobs. And we realized that we were just going to block each other off. So by collaborating together and taking our egos out of it and not saying like, right, I want to be the director and sit in the director's chair, but by saying like, we want to create these films, we want to develop these ideas, ultimately so that we can make short films, so we can make feature films. It seemed to just light a fire under the whole situation, where we were able to be a two-headed monster, go to meetings together, bounce ideas, and essentially develop our creativity. And I've run out of time, so.